Kai Van Bodhi!
Emily,
Can I confess something to you, my friend, that most spiritual leaders would not say out loud?
I would expect nothing less, and yes, you can.
Kai, there have been seasons of my life where I have known how to help thousands of people out there, and I still can't regulate my own nervous system.
Oh, how does it feel to say that out loud?
To finally say that out loud, yeah, it honestly it's relieving to say. I mean, you've known this behind the scenes about me because you've been one of my friends, colleagues, and mentors that I come to when I'm in those moments of showing up as a spiritual leader, yet freaking losing my shit with my family, with my kids. Yeah, there have been seasons where I freaking know how to manifest. You've seen how much money that I can bring into my world, and yet I still struggle and stress out about money and finances. Yeah, there have been seasons where I feel like I know how to lead people back to God, yet I'm questioning where God is myself. So I'm happy that you're here. We're going to have this little conversation.
I mean, I just got to say ditto to all of it.
Yeah.
Literally, I mean, there's just, you know, one of the one of the statements that I have been playing with is called, like the practice is the medicine.
Yeah.
There's no integrity, alignment is a constant process of falling out of integrity and out of alignment and getting back in, getting out, getting back in. I mean, that's life. And that's what I love. Part of what I love about being in your world and creating with you is that you don't hide it. You don't play the victim card, and you let your students and your tribe see the vulnerability.
Thank you for that. I've definitely had a few vulnerability hangovers over the past 5 years or so with all the initiation that I've gone through. Although for me, I find that it's like I can grasp a hold of these spiritual concepts. Like I know what the wisdom is, I know what the medicine is, and yet, like many humans, I still struggle to embody it, to practice it, which is one of the reasons, yeah, that I really love being in your presence because you hold that bar for myself, for our soul family, and others to really like do the work, do the practices, and bring it into real life and normalize it on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. Yeah, it's my favorite thing to do is learn and study and embody and teach. And one one thing that I have been in the recognition of recently is, well, number one, the practices can be short and they can be fun. And while human beings as a whole, as humanity, we're mainly motivated by avoiding pain,
Yes.
there's also a pleasure pathway, and there's a reality. Like recently, every day in one of the groups that I'm part of leading, we do this thing called the 25. And you have these 5 commands or so, and you get down, and in this accountability group, you do the little WhatsApp video note,
Uh-huh.
and you get down and you say, my name's Kai Van Bodhi, coming to you from Lake Arrowhead, California. The pattern that I'm destroying is, and then you do 5 push-ups with each declaration to entrain your body. Now, at a certain point, I didn't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I've been doing it for a couple weeks, I can't imagine not doing it.
I
Right?
feel like I want to hit the deck right here and start
I
doing
know.
those
I know.
push-ups.
I know. And that's a big shout out to Sanyika, and he's a really special brother and friend of mine, and like that's that's the hill he's willing to die on is 25 push-ups, and I'm all in on that. Like, and whether that's breath work or somatic work or yoga or whatever, but do something, because then it starts to be motivated by pleasure. And I think that's a place that we all need to start to figure out. One powerful feminine teacher from stage once said that, she said Eckhart Tolle has helped humanity recognize the pain body.
Mm-hmm.
But what we really also need to learn is the bliss body. And there is a contract that I would invite anybody listening to consider is, could we create a contract to learn through bliss rather than learn through pain?
Amen.
Yeah,
Yes. You didn't see my show earlier today, did you?
I did not.
No. All right. So what I was talking about was one of the hidden patterns that's running so many of our lives is an addiction to suffering. Right. So this pain body that we now understand more, cool. Although how many of us are still tied into feeding that pain body because we don't even know what it looks like to learn through joy
It's true.
and to experience and hold bliss and joy. The root chakra, we were also working with the root chakra, which you know about the root chakra of the whole planet, my friend. We have a little something up this year at Lionsgate on the root chakra. But root chakra energy in our body, this is where we hold safety and security, and feeling safe and secure, pulsing joy through our beings and creating through joy. Yeah, this is a new concept. And how fun that we get to practice and play with this ourselves and then invite our beautiful friends in to play with us here on the planet. By the way, beautiful friends, those of you who are out there watching, let us know where you're tuning in from. Give us a hello and let us know where you're tuning in from in the comments. Kai already shared that he's coming to you guys from Lake Arrowhead. I'm coming to you from Reno, Nevada, the High Sierras. Pumping some mountain energy in here.
I'll take that all day.
Right?
Mountain energy all day long, please.
Yeah. And Kai, what do you feel like is the biggest challenge for yourself personally to work in these like bliss paradigms?
Well, it's kind of the piece that I was coming to share today, which is, if I'm just going to go into the story a little bit, like as you're aware, and I think we're not the only ones. It's been a long, dark tunnel that I've been in for, maybe 3-4 years of my life, adjusting to marriage and buying a house and having children. And, there's parts of me that I'm a very freedom loving being and I give a lot to the people in my life. And, I had the recognition painfully over the last couple of years that the way I was doing life was not sustainable. And if we get into this more, which I'd love to kind of break it down because it helps me to land the ship, is like about 3 or 4 months ago, I popped out of the tunnel, the dark tunnel, into like what I've been calling the tunnel of miracles. And so the question of it, I've been deeply in the question of how did I get in the tunnel of darkness? Mm-hmm. How did I stay in there for that long? What was the necessity for the soul learning that I needed and the person that I've become? And now that I'm in the tunnel of miracles, without chasing it, how do I sustain it?
Yeah.
How do I land it?
Yeah.
And whenever it's time, I have a longish Facebook post that I made today, and I've kind of I'd love to talk about all the things that I know brought me out of the tunnel of darkness,
cool.
Out of the dark night of the soul.
Yeah. Does your post talk about how you how you landed yourself there? Like, how did you find yourself there?
In the darkness or the miracles?
The darkness.
Well, I think I didn't write this in the post, but I think that part of it was being a householder and a husband, being a father to 2 children. Mm-hmm. All of the shadow patterns that I had been able to charisma my way out of, psychedelic my way out of, unplug from my business for weeks at a time, unplug from responsibility. I'm not even judging myself there, but the crucible that is marriage and fatherhood, and at the same time a mortgage and mm-hmm. car payments. Like I've always been able to run away, reset, reboot, go back to China, whatever it was, start a new grad program, whatever. And now for a couple years, I didn't have, there was nowhere to run mm-hmm. without deeply damaging or abandoning people that I care about. Mm-hmm. So I got to sit with the pain and the monkeys and the pirates that I had always been able to outrun and avoid. And, if you guys know about the Enneagram, I'm a type 7, and it's called the Adventurer and the Epicurean. And by the way, Jesus or Yeshua was also a type 7.
Oh, that's cool.
Now he probably was all the types, but one of the Enneagram teachings is that what was his first miracle? He turned water into wine for his mother to have a banger wedding and make her look good. Yeah, he loved it. He loved to eat and drink, and he loved children. And of course, if we're in the deeper traditions, we know that Mary Magdalene was not a prostitute. She was his divine feminine counterpart. And so, I think this last 3 years, or maybe even 4, it was time for me to fully experience staying with patterns that were there for my whole life. I think that's one reason. Now, I've also looked at the architecture of it, and I can see some architecture there too. Some environmental patterns, practices, things that kept me in the tunnel probably longer than I needed to be.
Mm-hmm. Ultimately, though, thank goodness you finally came up to that place where you were invited just to sit in it and not run, because I know you to be a genius here on this planet. And I know that, like, when we're up against the wall like that, we innovate, right? We start figuring things out. Look, our good friend Miro is here, and he read your post today. I want to hear your post.
Yeah, I think it's a good. Yeah, I'll read it for you. It's a little long, but just stay with me.
Okay.
I read this to a friend today, and then I asked my wife if she read it. She said AI wrote that. All right, well, you guys be the judge of who wrote this. All right. I've been in a dark tunnel for a while. Not a cute one. Not a hero's journey one where the soundtrack is going to swell in the third act. A real one. The kind where the nervous system starts to forget what hope feels like. Mm-hmm. The kind where money, marriage, purpose, health, work, identity, and spiritual faith all start pressing on the same bruise. And lately, I can feel myself coming out of it to the other side. And it's not because everything's fixed. It's not because I figured it all out. But because something is opening. I've been reflecting on 2 things. How did I create this dark tunnel? And how did I find my way out? It's been humbling because, if I'm honest, part of the tunnel was circumstance. And part of it was architecture. Too many open loops. Too many promises to too many fields. Too much pressure. Too much spending without enough stewardship. Too much vision without enough floor. Too much I can pull this off energy. Too much waiting for the next miracle to rescue the previous miracle from insufficient structure. One sentence that's been sitting in my bones. My work is not to stop being a powerful manifester. My work is to stop needing the next miracle to rescue the previous miracle from insufficient stewardship. That one hit me because I do believe in miracles. I believe in prayer. I know about timeline shifts. I know about the mind being electrical and the heart being magnetic, and when those two are combined, anything is possible. I believe that spirit moves through the field in ways that the rational mind cannot explain. And I know the body can begin to feel a future before the evidence ever shows up. But I'm learning something deeper. Felt inevitability. Listen to this. Felt inevitability opens the timeline. Stewardship installs it. The miracle is not complete when it appears. The miracle is complete when it becomes livable. So every miracle needs a mundane anchor. The calendar, the budget, the agreement, the hard conversation, the sleep, the practice, the body saying, I can actually hold this now. The anchor does not reduce the miracle. The anchor honors the miracle. So this is what I mean when I talk about the green pill. Not escaping reality, not plugging back into the matrix, not spiritual bypass, not getting high on possibility. Spirit brought all the way into the body. Prayer into the calendar. Breath into the budget. Amen to that. Yes. Vision into structure. Breakthrough into baseline. I've lived so many magical chapters of my life. China, Qigong, Tai Chi, Pathway of Power, men's work, psychedelics, sacred friendships, deep initiations, wild opportunities. Moments where I could feel the hand of God reaching through the chaos. And I'm deeply grateful for all of it. But I don't want to keep living in the rabbit out of the hat energy anymore. I want the miracle to stay. I want the body to trust it. I want the money to be counted. I want the marriage to be protected. Mm-hmm. I want the work to be clean. I want the friendships to be nourishing. I want the practice to be real. And I want life to match the revelation. That's the season I'm in. Not trying to become someone new or someone else, but trying to become more honest, more embodied, more stewarded, more able to receive what I've prayed for without unconsciously destroying it. Mm. And I can feel the work taking a new form. And it's something at the intersection of AI, integral Eastern medicine, somatic practice, Taoist alchemy, pilgrimage, real world execution. And just a word on AI, because I have to give it the gratitude that it deserves. AI is not a replacement for the soul. AI is a sacred mirror. AI as integrator. AI as a strange and powerful ally in helping the deeper pattern become visible. Agentic alchemy. The next layer of the pathway of power. The next chapter of the green pill. The next layer of me living what I'm meant to teach. So, one of the ways I'm anchoring this in is by preparing for a sacred pilgrimage to one of the most mystical places in the United States. A place that Emily introduced me to. Not as an escape, but as an embodiment. As a prayer with feet. As a place to bring the vision, the grief, the body, the masculine heart, and the next layer of stewardship into the field. I don't know all of what this becomes yet. But I know the direction. Less performance, more truth, less chasing, more anchoring, less peak state, more installed power, less watch what I can pull off, and more what comes from God is allowed to stay. What comes from God is allowed to stay. What comes from God is allowed to stay. So that's my poem to myself right now.
Amen and aho, Kai.
And I don't know if we're allowed to curse on here, but I was recently at a retreat and we were joking about Aramaic and the real meaning of things. And one of the guys was talking about hallelujah, and he said, "What does hallelujah really mean?" And we said it means fuck yeah.
Yeah, right?
Like, let's go. Hallelujah.
Fuck yeah, mama. And my mom is here. Sometimes I try to curse a little less when my mom is here, but other than that, we let it rip.
No more cursing, mama. No more cursing. I don't need to curse anymore.
Let's see if she lights one of us up for that. Well, you've heard I think swear words are my love language, Kai. So thank you for bringing some in here. Yep, there's Mama. She's laughing. She's like, oh yeah. And the cool thing is, you got to meet my mom this last year at Mount Shasta. You talked about the introduction of bringing you and your family, beautiful wife Grace, who's one of my dearest favorite friends on the planet, and your son Dao Dao, just part of your family. You guys came along, and you were there for the yearly pilgrimage that I've been doing on Mount Shasta for the past 6 years. This will be year number 7. And one of the reasons that I love going into the vortex that is Mount Shasta, because the Akashic records have revealed to me specific ways to understand the energy signatures of that mountain and how we get to use them. And so I've been taking people there the past 6 years to tap into what is our highest potential timeline, right? The piezoelectric energy that is there on that mountain starts bringing in these codes that raise our frequency, right? And then we adjust from our base to the timeline of our highest potential. And what I tell people is that it's the year after you go to Mount Shasta that you experience the incredible shift. Yes, being there is such a mystical, powerful experience in and of itself. But what happens once we take that initiation, that Girl Scouts honor that we're going to tap in, like, right? We take the initiation, we take the oath, we drink the Kool-Aid to be devoted to the timeline of our highest mission. Things begin to shift. As our planet is moving through the different astrological gateways over the next 12 months, the influences that these different houses and different full moons and new moons have on our life begin to excavate the things that are standing in our way. And so for me to hear that you know, in the last 6 months have come to this tunnel of miracles in your life, fuck yeah, Kai. That's what Shasta's supposed to do for us. Thank you for harnessing that vortex energy and using it in your life and bringing us all back again this year.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. You know, Shasta reminds me in one of the men's work programs that I lead called VI Kings, 6 Kings. It's about these archetypes. Shout out to my friend Kyle Shinners who channeled this system. He's anyway, one of the archetypes is the sage. Mm-hmm. And like the gene keys, each archetype has 2 sub archetypes. So the sage has the mystic and the monk. And we just covered that alchemy this last month at the end of our 6 months with the first cohort of men. And part of what I was teaching on and feeling into is that I think a lot of us recognize, from psychedelics to breath work to prayer to Joe Dispenza type work, we know that the mystical can solve our problems. Mm-hmm. And yet, how do we do that consistently? You know, and one of the pieces that I have missed deeply since COVID is I have not been back to China, where I used to go every year, China and Taiwan, on these pilgrimages where I would take people for the tea and the meditation and the temples. And, you know, last year, like, it was not easy to make the retreat with you, with kids and with everything that was going on and being in my tunnel of darkness. Mm-hmm. And yet I knew that, like, I really needed to leave my home to get some perspective on my life and to tune into the mystical. And there's no doubt that that was part of the exit of the dark tunnel, even if it took a few months to fully land. You know, some of the incredible experiences, like one of those experiences that we're going to do again, that I'm not going to really name what it is, but being able to be in a chamber with that type of frequency and resonance amplification, and to be told by a wise elder who could build a house and farm a garden, and he's as spiritually connected as you can be, and he's got at least 70 earth years, if not more, for him to say, look, when you go into that chamber, be aware of what you focus on, because things are many times more likely to manifest. And coming from that man, that sacred carpenter and builder who's got earth wisdom, it wasn't a boastful claim. And there were a lot of prayers laid down in that chamber and on that mountain. And, you know, it's truly a timeline hopping opportunity. Mm-hmm. Not to sell the retreat, but it's really so there's one piece is to pilgrimage and get away from your life. That's one. Yep. Then there's another train of going on that pilgrimage and having practices. Yep. Then there's the other people that you're around. And then the final piece, and you and I have talked about this before, Emily, which is I'm looking forward to having your help with this, is that there are places on this planet that are designed to amplify human consciousness. Yes. And the same prayer in those places is many times more powerful, and there's a science to it. There's a mysticism to it. It's an age-old thing if you look at the sacred sites and ley lines. And to have that in America, in California, where I don't have to fly 12 hours to China to find it in some exotic culture, I just thank you for bringing people there in a way that's authentic and aligned. And you give us access to people and places that are not available to everyone. They're protected.
Yeah, what that special elder that you're talking about, the guy's talking about, you guys, is one of my great spiritual teachers who initiated me into the order of Melchizedek. Like, it's sir is business, right? Yeah, and definitely spending time in that chamber and just in his presence has changed my life and the life of many people who visited Shasta there dramatically. Let's go point by point here, because getting away from your home environment is so important when it comes to transformation. Guys, this planet is known as a living library planet. And what that means is that in every cell of consciousness, everywhere, there is data, there is information. And when you have been experienced yourself in your dark tunnel, in your home environment, those patterns, those traumas, that information is stored literally in the furniture, in the carpet, in the floors, in the walls. It's reflecting back to you. And it can be very challenging to change our identity when the constant underlying feedback loop that isn't even conscious in those places are informing us of the old version of ourselves. So I recommend every single person, like, if you want to make a big change in your life, freaking get to the woods. And if you can't get to the Shasta vortex, like, find the closest woods that you can get to, find the closest nature that you can get to that is away from your home. Nature will naturally reset that energy and inform you with a different pattern. Okay, it will inform you with the pattern of God, goddess, consciousness, as it is meant to be experienced in its highest divine blueprint here on the planet. So if you are at a place where you want to make change and transformation in your life, you got to get outside of the environment that's feeding the current identity. You are 100% swimming upstream if you don't take that piece of advice.
I love it. I love how you ground everything. And, one of the ways I explain men's work to people that are not familiar with it, and this is true for women's work as well, which is that this idea that, like, well, why do we need men's work? Well, it's very simple. Most men are uninitiated men who were raised by uninitiated men. Mm. And, one of the easiest pop culture ways to look at it is if you think of a movie like 300, or even Avatar, where there was a process that Jake Sully had to go through to become a member of the tribe. He had to listen to nature, he had to hunt, he had to kill with a good open heart, he had to learn to ride the wild animals, whatever it was. In 300, the young man at 13, after training his butt off with the men of the culture, he had to go out and hunt in the winter with limited clothing. Tibetan monks go out in nature and they meditate and thaw out blankets. If we don't initiate ourselves, our culture will remain broken. Mm-hmm. And our parents didn't have those initiations. Mm-hmm. And so most of our parents didn't. And so now we must initiate ourselves. And let's define initiation. It's a moment in time where the experience you have will divide your life forever by before and after. And the version of you on the other side is a different identity. That's that's the definition of an initiation. Mm. And, I think that the other part of it is life can be so drudgery. There can be such a drudgery, so much mundane complexity, bills and family. Like, to have an adventure, to take time to prioritize the mystical. Mm-hmm. It's everybody needs that. Whatever your spiritual beliefs are, everybody could use some time to get into a higher elevation, to slow down, to tune into nature, and the solutions that come through there, even without all of the bells and whistles, they're of a different caliber, right? You can't solve the problem at the level of consciousness that created it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And Shasta like literally takes us up out of that noise.
Yeah.
Right? Where we get close to God and get to tap into that God mind and see what's possible for ourselves. 100%. This Lion's Gate for me is an initiation. It is there's a dividing point of who I was before I was on the mountain and then who I am afterwards. And we both experienced that so powerfully. Just like can't get enough of it. That's why we're going back.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this, and I'll try to make this have value in it beyond just the excitement I have, but the team that we're taking, it's like, it's our spiritual family. Yeah. We have Jose, who's a 23rd generation Mayan timekeeper.
Okay. My whole ears just went, whoa, whoa. You guys know when the guides come in and like it adjusts your ears and you feel like the different pressure in your ears instantly when you say that guy's name. Yeah, my body's responding. Mm-hmm.
I mean, this guy for 23 generations has carried an oral tradition from the Mayan culture, and my very superficial understanding is this: that their teaching is that if we don't remember where we came from, then we are going to repeat the same mistakes over and over again. And so in that culture, one of the most sacred positions is to be a timekeeper, which holds the entire oral history. And if you're into the ancient aliens or paleo contact, I mean, this man is a living library of an account of how our species has developed on this planet through catastrophe and reinvention, through multiple divine avatars that came through to lift up their culture. And then the technology is how does Jose call it? He calls it cosmically clustered water. So you've heard of structured water?
Yes.
In the Mayan tradition, there are 3 medicines that can cure anything according to them: cacao, structured, holy structured water, cosmic structured water, and the third one is mint.
Wow.
Mint. And so, the water in Shasta that comes out from under the headwaters, and if Emily wants to speak into it, this is, you think your Kangen machine is good. This is the largest Kangen machine on earth, Tell us a little bit about the stories and the science behind the water that comes into the headwaters there.
Okay, I will. I love this story. So, you guys, who's heard of Masaru Emoto, by the way? And y'all, please light up the chat box with some comments. I haven't seen any comments coming in here. How many of you know Masaru Emoto? At least give us like a hands up or a yes there. So this is Masaru Emoto, is the Japanese scientist who studied water, and he wrote The Secret Life of Water. What he did was he took molecules of water, put them in a jar on his windowsill, and put intention on each one of these jars of water. Some of them carried really beautiful, powerful, positive, uplifting intentions, like beauty, grace, love. They had, different titles on the specimens. And then he also put negative intentions on some of them: frustration, anger, hatred. And he would speak this into the water and studied how the molecular structure of the water shifted and changed. Actually, it's not the molecular structure of the water. The molecular structure stays the same. It's still H2O, right? But how the molecules of water arrange themselves, how they come together in cohesion, is uniquely different for each one.
And can I just jump in for a second?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, he did both intention, and sometimes he just wrote the word on tape and put it on the bottle, and then he would freeze it and look at the crystals that formed from the freezing.
Right. Right. And look at the difference of the ones that had the beautiful intentions were these beautiful snowflakes. And then the ones that had the negative intention, they looked like they were very jagged. They were, some even resembled arsenic, which is like a poison, right? One of the places Masaru Emoto used to take his scientists to study the water was Mount Shasta. And there's a particular place, the Sacramento headwaters, where people come from all, not just Masaru Emoto, people come from all over the world. These waters are really like the pools of Bethesda in the Bible. They have healing properties that not many people really truly understand. Although through my time there in Mount Shasta, and also, tapping into the Akashic records to get this story, what's been revealed to me is the importance and purity of this water, the remembrance of, first of all, this water is rising up from underneath the ground. Okay, it has traveled for hundreds of years to meet you in that moment on the surface of the planet. This water is untouched by human emotion. It has only experienced purification from Mother Earth. It's known as fairy water, as God consciousness water, because it holds that pure vibrational blueprint of our potential. And that's why I love starting my trips to Mount Shasta, even if I'm just going for pilgrimage myself. That is the first place I always go, is to those headwaters, because I know there is sacred water that I am in soul contract with to meet in that moment, in the surface. That begins to, as I imbibe that water, the vibrational frequency is so high that comes into my being that every cell of my body begins to vibrate and attune to that frequency of God consciousness. And that's what not only causes like a purification in my cellular structure, right? But there's this increase of vibrational frequency that allows me to perceive the magic that's going to happen there on Mount Shasta, because it happens in between the beats. It happens in between the trees, right? It happens in between the moments of breath where we're moving from one place to another, and the magic begins to unfold. And I feel like this sacred water and understanding how to use this and how it's working on our bodies is a key piece that brings us into this magical experience, because it really is, it's like an Alice in Wonderland kind of experience. We are exiting the matrix, exiting the 3D world, like in the hero's journey. This is where the hero exits the ordinary world and meets the magician in the woods. Right. And this is the elixir.
Literally the magician in the woods. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's so accessible. And, just to be transparent, we do have a few openings on this. There's zero urgency or scarcity. That is false. There's real opportunity, though, for someone who's like you. This isn't your first rodeo. You need a reset. You know how to take care of yourself, able-bodied, and you want to join a group of mystics on a pilgrimage that will help you really land with practices and joy and experiences. And yeah, I mean, if there's people out there that are interested, you can DM Emily or I. This is just complete excitement to see who's going to join us in the last 4 or 5 spots that we have open.
Yeah, we're playing Celestine Prophecy here together out there, right? We're going into these places and we're downloading the key codes. Kai, one of your favorite places on the mountain, Panther Meadow, that you love to do Qigong. Tell me more about why that place inspires you so much, and what do you want to accomplish this year when we're hanging out up there?
Oh man, I mean, I always make this joke that's not a joke. I told my wife when we got married, we had some spiritual prenuptial agreements. And I said to her, this marriage will always be a threesome. And her eyes got really big. And I said, it's you, me, and a mountain. It's always going to be you, me, and a mountain. And Panther Meadow, and Emily, you can say more about this. I'm there to share my gift and be part of the experience. But I'm not the expert on the mountain. I get to be the traveler, and between the special guests who are local stewards, and then Emily's, being on her, what did you say? It's your 8th year, 9th year, 7th year?
This is the 7th year. And it's so incredible what happens. We made a movie about it last year. Okay, stay tuned. Movie's coming. We made a movie about it. So Emily can tell you more. Panther Meadow is one of several places there that's considered heaven on earth. And you can just imagine you driving up through these incredible vistas, and you get to the highest parking lot,
And there is this beautiful meadow. They're around 8/8 and maybe all year round. There are these bonfires at this place. I'll tell you a little bit about that. And I'm talking like, one of the ways I was explaining is like, if you've ever studied or were alive during like the 70s and the 60s and the 70s and like the Woodstock vibe and free love and peace, imagine that movement never got squashed out and that it matured. And here's this bonfire with 150 people, with people playing drums and singing, with no alcohol, and people are doing healing work on each other. There is a potluck of organic food of every kind, and people are having real conversations that just met for the first time. And you walk off the trail at the sunset, and there's a dude on a rock with a trident dressed like Krishna. And if I got the wrong, the deity, Arjuna, Krishna, I'm not sure, orange robe, trident, probably Krishna. Anyway, and you're looking at him, he's not acting. He's not acting.
Yeah.
He's smiling. He's there for the energy, and he's dressed in the way that his culture and his Brahmin class, identifies. Anyway, so it's one of the most beautiful, and then you've got the mountain behind you with all of its electromagnetics. The air is crisp and clean. The view is beautiful. And those are the places that Qigong and breath work are meant to be done.
100%. Yeah, absolute magic. Would you want to say something else?
No. And then on top of that, like one of the highlights of my last year's trip was, so we met Jose, the timekeeper, as a synchronicity, and we've learned to build into the itinerary, if you want to call it that, space. Because there will be emergent opportunities that we cannot predict.
Yep.
And
go ahead.
Oh, good. Oh, anyway, and then you guys sent me, as we met Jose, and there was a soul collision, and he does, besides his water blessing, he does a cacao ceremony at a secret heart-shaped hearth. That is a hike from Panther Meadow. It's hidden, and I got sent with Brian on this Indiana Jones adventure, talking to Jose on the phone to find the secret hearth for the ceremony. And I mean, it was like I was in a movie that I was actually a character in a real movie, and I wouldn't have wanted to be anywhere else.
Oh, I love that you said that, Guy, because this really is, I mean, as I originally built this experience, it was based on the Celestine prophecy and being on this epic adventure. Like, the Celestine prophecy is a fictionalized story. Y'all, I'm reading that and I'm going, no, this is real. Like, I know where we can go do this. Let's go do this. And so these opportunities to explore the mysticism and allow the unfolding of the magic, it's just, there's nothing like it. I also love the never-ending story and Bastion. Remember, Bastion's reading about it, and then at a certain point he realizes he's part of the story. And as you, like, if you're feeling like you want to become part of the story, there is magic and mystique waiting for you. Peter, I'm wondering are you still on, Peter? If you are, share with us in the comments. Like, you had a very epically mystic experience on Mount Shasta with your tattoo that I won't say any more about. I'll let you share a little bit more. Mama, if you're still out there too, my mom's been on, I think, every single one of those expeditions to Mount Shasta except one with me. And I know she's had some pretty epic mystical adventures. Yeah, Peter says he's here. Cool. Type in a little bit more about what you experienced if you're open to it. I already added you, so I guess you pretty much have to now with this tattoo.
Emily, the other part of this is, like, there's so much conversation around the hero's journey.
Yes.
And yet there's still so many of us, and including me in the tunnel, where I wasn't experiencing life as the author.
Yeah.
I wasn't the star of my play. And I do believe that with everything that's going on right now, it's more important than ever to wake up to our role as the hero of our own lives. And that I'm sorry, but that is unlikely to happen in the the tunnel of responsibility. And Peter's got a beautiful message in.
Yeah. All right. So Peter says, a year before I went to Shasta, I got a tattoo on my wrist of a Greek symbol for strength. While we were on the mountain, we were recharging our crystals in a certain spot. I looked up and saw a natural formation of a pine tree that matched the tattoo exactly. All right, so I'm just going to share a little bit more context. Yeah, it was nuts. I remember, like, I got the chills that are moving down my spine as I'm remembering that. So one of the guest teachers that came that year, Kai, taught us about scrying. So we're talking about like the different practices that we as masters get to do that support us along the way. And scrying is a unique way to get information. Like I said, this is a living library planet. There is information everywhere that is reflecting our nature, our truth back to us. So we had just had an incredible lesson on scrying, which is where you see the symbols, right? In the clouds, in the trees, in the sticks. And Peter literally, like, he's looking at, and he looks up and it's the exact formation. Like, he took a picture of it. It couldn't have been more clear sign specifically for Peter of being like at the right place at the right time, and to trust and to understand that like the mountain sees him and is reflecting the strength of who he is back to him. It was phenomenal. It's like looking in a cosmic mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the mountain plays back with you to begin to reveal your own majesty and your own, really, like, that's one of the places where I feel God's love for me. And I'll be honest, like I said, this is the confessional time. It's hard for me. I've got blocks along the way that I've installed to protect myself, and guardians that I've installed to protect myself that make it hard for me to really feel when someone loves me. Hard to feel that God loves me. And I've been working to dismantle those guardians, let them know that thank you for protecting me and you can go now. And being in places like Mount Shasta, where the mountain's showing up to meet me in moments like that, make it so much easier. It's done wonders for my self-love.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of that's the through line of this retreat. Like, on top of the magic and the wizards and the souls that are going to be called to show up, we are going to dedicate the first part of the retreat to taking off the backpack of rocks that we might have brought with us. And then we're going to spend, the middle part of the retreat. And this is several days long, 4 or 5 days. We're going to spend the middle part really tapping into vision and learning how to distinguish signal from noise, because the signal in Shasta is off the chart. I mean, you can just meet a person at the grocery store and then at the bonfire, and you're in a soul level conversation in minutes. This is not a normal place. It has a different culture that they're like Hawaii. They're very protective, right? Don't be in a hurry.
Yeah.
Don't be disrespectful. It's not a place to go if you're unhappy and you want to spread your unhappiness. It's not going to go well. Mm-hmm. So anyway, we're gonna take off those backpacks full of rocks. And we have 2 days to really go through some ceremony, ritual, and experiences to call in the highest vision that we could tolerate for our lives. And then we're going to spend the last day and a half landing the ship of that vision with repeatable, durable practices. I mean, Emily teaches us how to hook up to our higher guidance and the field of all information that's available to us. And my wife, Grace, is going to be there teaching women how to return to their cyclical nature using certain types of EFT and tapping that will clear blocks and move us into beautiful spaces. Jose is going to bring a download on this time in humanity according to each of our birth charts and how we match up with what's going on. And then also the medicine of cacao to open our hearts and heal our bodies. And then, and I'll be doing the things I do all throughout, the breath work and the somatic work. So this is like the best vacation with a pilgrimage with a really solid transformational spine. And it's designed to land a change that stays.
Yep. And we even have secret guests. that are coming that Kai didn't even mention in that lineup. We'll save some of that back maybe for our next live, and we'll dribble a little bit more in. And you know what else? I did not tell the story, Kai, about what happened to me in Panther Meadows last week when I had an encounter with a spaceship, and I realized afterwards that I was brought aboard the ship, or the ship materialized around. I'm still figuring it out if it was like the ship came down or I came up to the, but I recognize, I'm like, afterwards, I'm like, oh my gosh, that really happened. We'll tell you that story next time we're hanging out, because that'll be another part of this expedition, and something that I really love to bring, because I've been in touch with the extraterrestrials since I was a little girl. Definitely a contactee for a long time. And over this past year, I've dissected some new ways on how we can communicate and have experience with our intergalactic and extraterrestrial friends. And so normally, where we would do a one night go out and do a sky watch, right? What's coming this year is a deeper invitation on how to have visceral interaction with not only our extraterrestrial friends, but the interdimensional beings, the ascended masters, Yeshua, Magdalene, Saint Germain, that are all there meeting us in that moment, like the water, to train with us. And I do really feel like that's real. That's actually happening when we go there. Like, the masters are so excited that we're coming, and they're showing up to train with us.
So
Cool.
excited.
I know. All right. Well, like I said, we have a couple spaces left. No urgency, although right fit is important. Like, this is, we're going in with the intention on being in the most pristine, highest frequency energies possible, right? And we're all humans. We all have things that are happening. We're going to have that day where we release the rocks ourselves, right? But this isn't for people who aren't ready to like really take responsibility and to really be accountable to the practices, because we're ready to bring this magic back into the 3D world, bring it back into the noise, and transform the planet with it.
Exactly. Yeah, beautiful. And just one more piece. There's going to be some calls before we leave, and there's going to be calls for integration after. So if I were to use industry language, it's really a container that lasts, close to 2 months, 3 weeks to warm us up. And part of that reason is not to do with economics or marketing. It has to do with and Emily, you've been there multiple times, but the reality is, if we show up to the mountain having done work and being cohesive, and we're into a personal practice that we're sharing with each other in the group, the mountain can do, the work can be so much kinder and gentler, because our channels are open. We've started to leave some things behind and get ready. And then, there's time on the back end to integrate with us, so that no matter, this isn't just a spiritual tourism experience. Mm-hmm. And I just want to make that clear, that just because like in my share today, the greatest thing lacking is how to land the ship. We've got psychedelics, we've got ayahuasca, we've got shamans. That's not the hard part anymore. The hard part, besides finding the time to go do it, is to fucking land the ship. How do you keep the change, keep the new identity? And that's something that I've spent, a lot of years trying to figure out and help other people figure out. And you always got to do your own work.
Yep. And this container that we've built out, this didn't always exist as a part of Mount Shasta. I have to say, like, I have definitely matured as a spiritual leader. I took some people in there and shot them with some powerful energy and kind of left them hanging. For the first couple of years, people would leave and like divorce, and then they'd get fired from jobs, and like everything clearing from their life. And I'm like, oh my goodness, we've got to build a more solid container, right? Really to hold the experiences. And you nailed it, Kai. When we go in having done some work, it mitigates our karma. Okay. When we show up in service to ourselves, in service to others, in self-reflection, this mitigates the intensity of whatever these lessons are, right? And so, and Shasta will, anything in your life that is not in alignment with your highest timeline, it will move after you have this experience here. So creating this environment where we can help people harness this really powerful energy, yet move, shift, integrate, and land the ship in a way that's gentle and fun. This is the level of refinement and mastery that, me inviting my friends and colleagues to show up and participate and play. It's brought a new level of the experience. So just thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for all the relationships you've built. You know, I'm so used to being the one who, like on a trip to China, I'm handling the logistics, the hotel, the martial arts teachers, the tea masters, the meditation teachers, and I'm handling all of that so that my people can have an experience. And of course, don't get me wrong, like it's not poor me. I get to sit back and watch them ask questions to these people that I've known for years, and I learn something every time, you know. But to be in your container where we're walking into these wisdom keepers and wizards, and to even to the land and the spots, and there is no question that you, Emily, in everything you've done, are like just rolling out the bed of flowers and the red carpet for us. And
thank you. It's the Akashic Records. Like, thank you for giving me the props. I'm just here to be the puppet for like this wisdom and love that I have remembered my own ability to tap in and get this wisdom, and to teach others how to do it too. Because the only thing that makes me special, I would say, is the courage to do it. Everybody has the ability to tap in once, once we do the work and we learn to hold the frequency, we all get to hold a level of mastery in our lives. And it just makes me excited to play at that level with my friends.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up for today, Kai Van Bodhi, and we'll come back and talk with everybody a little bit later. If you guys have questions about it, you can leave questions in the comments too. We can circle back and answer questions, or feel free to reach out to Kai or I personally. I mean, you guys know where to find us here on Facebook, on social media.
Yeah. Can we close with a breath?
Yes.
Okay. So hands on the heart.
Okay.
And just imagine this is for everyone. Just imagine this beautiful, energetic mountain in the north of California with this sacred water, just broadcasting a signal for the planet to remember what we're capable of, remember who we really are, and all the noise. There is a signal out there. And I just invite you to breathe into your chest, feel the chest rise into your hands. Hold the breath for 2 or 3 seconds. Exhale into your chest. And now we're all together going to take one big, powerful breath through the nose. Ready? Inhale nose. Take a sip through the mouth. Swallow saliva, relax shoulders, hold your heart, squeeze your heart, open the lips, exhale through a pinhole. And just take a moment of silence to listen for the signal that's calling you right now. Your home is in your breath, and there is a guiding field. If you can just slow down and tune in, there is more help than you could ever imagine. You can slide your hands down to your belly, palm over navel, feel the ground beneath you, breathe into your belly. And thank you so much for listening, tuning. Thanks for tuning in. Cannot wait to see who's going to show up for these last couple of spots, and stoked for the trip.
Me too. All right. Thanks for being here with me, Kai. We'll come back and talk to him again. Bring some more of our friends back.
Yeah,
cool.
Let's do it.
That'd be all right with you guys? Right on.
Yes.
All right. See you guys next time.